Vextar Kelm had never felt pain like this before. The human railgun round that disabled his ship had sent metal fragments flying through the bridge. One piece had cut deep into his shoulder, and green blood stained his uniform. He sat slumped in his command chair, watching the tactical display show ship after ship in his fleet going dark. The humans had destroyed their weapons and engines with surgical precision, leaving the crews alive but helpless. "Sir," Quinn Reth reported from his damaged console. "Human shuttles are approaching. They're requesting permission to dock." "Tell them to go away," Vextar muttered through his pain. "I don't think they're asking for permission, sir. They're informing us of their intent." Through the bridge viewports, Vextar could see a human shuttle approaching their docking bay. It was smaller than alien designs, but it moved with the same purposeful efficiency as their warship. The shuttle docked with a solid thunk. Moments later, the airlock opened and humans stepped aboard the alien vessel. They wore simple uniforms and carried medical equipment instead of weapons. The first human through the door was a woman with kind eyes and gentle hands. "I am Dr. Kim Nari of the Earthship Indomitable," she announced in perfect galactic standard. "We're here to provide medical assistance." Vextar tried to stand, but the pain in his shoulder made him stumble. Dr. Kim Nari was at his side instantly, supporting him with surprising strength for someone so small. "Sit down," she said firmly. "You're injured." "I don't need help from humans," Vextar protested weakly. "Yes, you do." Dr. Kim Nari began examining his wound with professional efficiency. "This fragment is close to a major blood vessel. If we don't treat it properly, you could die." She worked quickly, using medical tools that seemed more advanced than anything in Galactic Council databases. The pain faded as she applied some kind of numbing agent. "Why are you helping me?" Vextar asked as she cleaned his wound. "I just tried to kill you." "Because you're hurt," Dr. Kim Nari replied simply. "On Earth we have a saying, 'First do no harm.' It means that healing people is more important than hurting them." Around the bridge, other human medical personnel were treating injured alien crew members. They worked without regard to species, treating everyone with the same careful attention. "I don't understand," Vextar said as Dr. Kim Nari bandaged his shoulder. "You defeated us completely. Why not just execute us and take what you want?" Dr. Kim Nari paused in her work and looked directly into his large alien eyes. "Because that's what you would do. We're not you." On the Indomitable's bridge, Captain Lee Hyun was coordinating the rescue operations across the entire alien fleet. His tactical display showed human medical teams working on dozens of disabled ships. "Status report, Commander Yoon," he requested. Commander Yoon Hana consulted her displays. "All alien vessels secured, sir. Medical teams report 17 serious injuries, 43 minor wounds. No fatalities on either side." "Good. What about the mining facilities?" "Long-range sensors show increased security activity around the worker compounds. It appears the aliens are trying to prevent a revolt." Captain Lee Hyun's expression hardened. "Not for long. Prepare a landing force. Full combat gear this time." "Sir," Dr. Kim Nari's voice came over the communication system from the alien flagship. "I have someone here who wants to talk to you." Moments later, Vextar's voice came through the speakers. He sounded tired and confused. "Human, Captain. This is Administrator Vextar Kelm. I want to understand something." "Go ahead," Captain Lee Hyun replied. "Your ship could have destroyed our entire fleet in the first 5 minutes of combat. Your weapons are far superior to ours. Your technology is more advanced. Why did you disable us instead of destroying us?" Captain Lee Hyun was quiet for a moment before answering. "Administrator Kelm, may I ask you a question?" "Yes." "How many people have you killed in your mining operations?" The silence stretched for nearly a minute. When Vextar finally spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. I don't know. We don't keep records of worker casualties." "We do," Dr. Kim Nari's voice cut in. "We've been monitoring your communications for months. Our best estimate is over 50,000 people in this system alone." "They were criminals," Vextar protested weakly. "Prisoners of war. Undesirables." "They were children," Captain Lee Hyun said coldly. "Families. People whose only crime was being weaker than you." Through his ship's sensors, Vextar could see human shuttles launching toward the mining worlds below. Each one carried armed soldiers instead of medical personnel. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "We're going to free every person in your camps," Captain Lee Hyun replied. "And then we're going to make sure this never happens again." On the surface of Kepler 442b, the largest mining facility received an urgent message from orbit. The human shuttles were landing whether the aliens wanted them to or not. Camp Supervisor Keth Ran, a cruel Altarian who had run the facility for 8 years, ordered his guards to open fire on the approaching humans. It was the last order he ever gave. Human soldiers didn't fight like anything the aliens had encountered. They moved with precision and purpose, using weapons that seemed to violate the laws of physics. Alien guards found their energy weapons shorting out from electromagnetic pulses. Their armor meant nothing against human projectile weapons, but like their space battle, the humans were surgical in their violence. Guards who surrendered were captured alive. Those who resisted were disabled rather than killed. Within an hour, every camp in the system was under human control. The freed prisoners couldn't believe what they were seeing. Many had been enslaved for decades. Some had been born in the camps and had never seen the outside world. Commander Yoon Hana led the assault on the main facility. She found herself standing in a massive compound where thousands of beings from dozens of species lived in metal cages, barely large enough to lie down. "Open all the cells," she ordered her soldiers. "Get these people food and medical attention." As the cell doors opened, the prisoners emerged slowly, afraid it might be some kind of trick. An old Arcturian woman approached Commander Yoon Hana with tears in her compound eyes. "Are you really here to free us?" she asked in broken galactic standard. "Yes," Commander Yoon Hana replied gently. "You're safe now. All of you." Back in orbit, Admiral Park Jun's voice came through the communication system from Earth. "Captain Lee, this is Admiral Park. Excellent work. The Council fleet should arrive within 6 hours. Understood, sir. What are our orders regarding the alien survivors?" "Treat them well, Captain. Show them what civilization actually looks like. Some of them might be willing to learn." Dr. Kim Nari finished treating Vextar's wounds and sat down across from him in his command chair. "Administrator Kalm, I want to show you something." She activated a portable display unit and showed him images from the freed camps. Families reuniting after years of separation. Children seeing sunlight for the first time. Old people weeping with joy at their freedom. "This is what we came here for," she said quietly. "Not conquest. Not resources. Not territory. We came here to give these people back their lives." Vextar stared at the images in silence. Finally, he spoke. "I never thought of them as people. They were just workers, resources." "I know," Dr. Kim Nari said sadly. "That's the problem. That's why this had to end." Outside the viewports, more human ships were arriving. Not warships this time, but massive hospital ships and cargo vessels loaded with supplies. The real work was just beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that humans didn't just fight differently. They thought differently too. The first wave of alien fire hit the Indomitable like a rainbow of death. Plasma beams, particle cannons, and antimatter missiles all struck the human ship at once. The aliens expected to see the vessel explode in a brilliant fireball. Instead, something impossible happened. Thousands of small turrets emerged from the human ship's hull. They moved with mechanical precision, tracking each incoming projectile. Streams of metal fragments shot out from these point defense systems, creating a wall of destruction around the ship. Missiles exploded harmlessly against this metal storm. Energy beams scattered as they hit clouds of reflective particles. Within seconds, the entire alien attack had been neutralized. "Impossible!" Threx shouted from his command ship. "Nothing can stop that much firepower." Quinreth stared at his sensor readings in disbelief. "Sir, the human ship took no damage at all. Their point defense systems destroyed everything we threw at them." "Then we need more firepower. All ships, maximum charge. Fire everything." But the human ship wasn't waiting for a second attack. Instead of maintaining distance like every other species in known space, the Indomitable accelerated directly toward the alien battle line. Commander Yoon Hana watched her tactical display with satisfaction. The aliens are confused. They've never seen anyone charge straight at superior numbers. "That's because most species evolved from prey animals," Dr. Kim Nari observed from her station. "Humans evolved from hunters. When we see a threat, we don't run away. We attack it." Captain Lee Hyun stood calmly in the center of the bridge as alarm bells rang throughout the alien fleet. "Commander Yoon, target the largest ships first. Disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners, not corpses." "Understood, sir." Targeting the Centaurian heavy cruisers. The Indomitable's main guns rotated with mechanical precision. Unlike alien energy weapons that needed time to charge, Human railguns were always ready to fire. They worked on a simple principle: use magnetic fields to throw metal projectiles at incredible speeds. Firing main battery, Commander Yoon Hana announced. The railgun rounds were invisible to the naked eye, moving at significant fractions of light speed. The first Centaurian heavy cruiser never saw what hit it. One moment it was charging its plasma cannons. The next moment a metal rod punched through its shields like they didn't exist. The projectile continued through the ship's entire length, entering through the bow and exiting through the stern. It left a perfectly round hole, but the damage inside was catastrophic. Bulkheads collapsed, power systems failed, and the ship went dark. Direct hit on the Centaurian flagship, Commander Yoon Hana reported. Ship disabled but intact. Crew alive! Threx stared at his tactical display in horror. His most powerful warship had been crippled in a single shot. How is that possible? Our shields should have stopped anything. Not anything, Quinn replied grimly. Human weapons don't use energy. They use pure kinetic force. Our shields are designed to stop energy attacks. The second Centaurian cruiser tried to return fire, but the human ship was already moving. It twisted through space with impossible grace for something so large. Alien gunners couldn't track it fast enough to get a clean shot. Dr. Kim Nari studied the alien formations with scientific interest. They're trying to surround us. Classic fleet tactics from the Galactic Military Academy. Will it work? Captain Lee Hyun asked. Against another alien fleet, yes. Against us, no. They're still thinking in terms of long-range energy combat. We fight differently. The Indomitable suddenly changed direction, diving below the alien formation. Its belly weapons opened fire as it passed underneath the enemy ships. These weren't railguns, but mass drivers. Weapons that launched guided projectiles at lower speeds but with devastating effect. Each missile contained no explosive warhead. Instead, they carried kinetic penetrators designed to punch through armor and fragment inside the target. The effect was surgical and terrifying. Alien ships began losing power systems, weapon mounts, and engine sections, but their hulls remained intact and their crews stayed alive. The humans were being precise about what they destroyed. They're crippling us without killing us, Vextar realized from his command post. Why aren't they just destroying our ships? His answer came over the communication system. Captain Lee Hyun's voice reached every ship in the alien fleet. We are not here to commit genocide. We are here to stop it. Surrender now and your crews will be treated according to human military law. Continue fighting and we will disable every ship in your fleet. Never! Threx roared back. Centaurian warriors don't surrender to inferior species. His remaining ships opened fire with everything they had. The space around the Indomitable filled with deadly energy as dozens of weapons fired simultaneously. Once again, the human point defense systems activated. But this time they did something new. Instead of just destroying incoming fire, they began targeting the alien ship's weapon systems directly. Streams of hypervelocity projectiles reached out across space like invisible fingers of death. One by one, alien gun barrels exploded, missile tubes crumpled, energy projectors sparked and went dark. They're shooting our weapons off our ships, an Arcturian captain screamed over the radio. Commander Yoon Hana smiled grimly as she coordinated the attack. Human military doctrine is simple. First, take away the enemy's ability to fight back. Then take away their ability to run. Then give them a chance to surrender. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 15 minutes. By the end, 37 alien warships floated helplessly in space. Their weapons were destroyed, their engines disabled, but their hulls intact and their crews alive. The Indomitable moved through the wreckage like a shark among minnows. Its point defense systems remained active, ready to destroy any remaining threats. But there were none. Alien fleet, this is Captain Lee Hyun. Your weapons are destroyed and your ships disabled. We are sending boarding parties to provide medical assistance and emergency supplies. Any attempt to resist will result in the complete destruction of your vessel. Across the fleet, alien crews huddled in their damaged ships and waited. Some wept. Others prayed to their various gods. A few, like Threx, raged helplessly at their defeat. But all of them wondered the same thing. What kind of species could destroy an entire fleet without killing anyone? Dr. Kim Nari was already preparing the answer to that question. Human medical teams were suiting up in the shuttle bays, ready to help their former enemies. It was, she reflected, a very human thing to do. First defeat your enemies completely and utterly. then heal their wounds and treat them with dignity. It was a lesson the galaxy was about to learn whether it wanted to or not. The alarm bells screamed through the Galactic Council monitoring station like angry metal birds. Officer Quinn Reth pressed his blue-scaled hands against his headset, trying to block out the noise while staring at his sensor display. The numbers made no sense. "Sir, you need to see this," Quinn called across the control room to his supervisor. "Threx Modan." The Centaurian's massive frame cast a shadow over the sensor station as he approached. "What is it now?" Threx asked, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. "Another asteroid? Space pirates?" Quinn shook his head, his large eyes wide with confusion. "No, sir, it's big. Really big. And it's coming fast." On the main screen, a red dot moved toward their position in the Kepler system. The computer showed its size and speed, but the numbers seemed wrong. "Nothing that large should move that fast through space. Run the scan again," Threx ordered. "The machine must be broken." Quinn ran the scan 3 more times. Each time the same impossible results appeared. Something massive was heading toward them at incredible speed. In another part of the station, Vextar Kelm studied mining reports from the planets below. The Altarian had been managing the system's work camps for 10 years. Business was good. The workers dug up rare metals day and night, and the Galactic Council paid well for those materials. A junior officer rushed into Vextar's office without knocking. "Sir, emergency in the control room." Vextar looked up from his papers with annoyance. "What kind of emergency?" "Unknown ship approaching, sir. Very large. Very fast." Vextar set down his work and followed the officer to the control room. The main screen showed a tactical display of the system. 37 ships from different species floated in formation around the mining worlds. They were here to keep the peace and protect the mining operations, but now something else was coming. "How long until it arrives?" Vextar asked. 20 minutes, sir," Quinn replied from his station. 20 minutes? Threx growled. "That's impossible. Nothing moves that fast." "The sensors don't lie, sir." Vextar studied the display. In his 50 years of space service, he had never seen anything like this. "Send a message to the approaching ship. Ask them to identify themselves." Quinn sent the standard greeting message on all communication channels. They waited. No response came back. "Try again," Vextar ordered. Still nothing. "Sir," another officer called out. "I'm reading massive energy signatures from the approaching vessel. Whatever it is, it has more power than our entire fleet combined." Threx laughed, but it sounded nervous. "Impossible. Our Centaurian dreadnoughts are the most powerful ships in known space. The sensors say otherwise, sir." 15 minutes passed. The unknown ship grew larger on their screens. Finally, they could see its shape. It looked nothing like any ship they knew. Where alien vessels curved and flowed like living things, this ship was all sharp angles and flat surfaces. It looked like someone had taken a mountain and covered it in metal armor. "Look at all those weapon ports," Quinn whispered. Indeed, the ship bristled with weapon systems. Gun barrels pointed in every direction. Missile tubes covered its hull like metal porcupines. It looked like it was built for only one purpose: war, sir. "We're receiving a transmission," the communications officer announced. "Put it on speaker," Vextar ordered. The voice that came through the speakers was calm and clear. It spoke perfect galactic standard, but with an accent none of them recognized. "This is Captain Lee Hyun of the United Earth ship Indomitable. We are human." The control room fell silent. Everyone knew about humans. They were a new species barely 200 years in space. They came from a small planet called Earth in an unimportant star system. Most aliens considered them primitive and weak. "Humans," Threx whispered. "That ship belongs to humans?" The voice continued. "We have scanned your operations in this system. We have seen your mining facilities and the conditions of your workers. This ends now." Vextar stepped forward to the communication panel. "This is System Administrator Vextar Kelm. You are entering Galactic Council territory without permission. State your business here." "Our business is simple," Captain Lee Hyun replied. "We are here to free the people you have enslaved." "Enslaved?" Vextar's voice rose in anger. "These are legal mining operations. The workers are paid for their labor. Your own records show otherwise. We have monitored your communications. We know what really happens in your camps." Threx pushed Vextar aside and grabbed the microphone. "Human ship, you are vastly outnumbered. We have 37 warships in this system. You have one. Turn around and leave, or we will destroy you." A new voice came through the speakers. This one belonged to a woman. "This is Dr. Kim Nari, Science Officer of the Indomitable. We have scanned your ships. Your weapons and shields use outdated technology. Your hulls are thin. Your crews are poorly trained. You could have 100 ships and it would not matter." "Impossible," Threx roared. "Centaurian military technology is the best in the galaxy." "Was the best," Captain Lee Hyun's voice returned. 40 years ago, human military science has advanced beyond your understanding." The human ship continued its approach. Now they could see it clearly without sensors. It was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the largest Centaurian dreadnought. Its dark metal hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Sir," Quinn reported, "the human ship is charging weapons." "All ships," Threx shouted into his communicator. "Battle stations. Prepare to engage the human vessel." Across the system, alien warships powered up their weapons and moved into attack formation. Gun ports opened. Missile tubes loaded. Shield generators hummed to life. Captain Lee Hyun's voice cut through the battle preparations like a knife. "You have 30 minutes to withdraw all military vessels beyond this system's edge. After that time, any ship that remains will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly." "This is our system," Vextar protested. "We have mining rights granted by the Galactic Council." "Your mining rights are void. Your treatment of workers violates basic sentient rights. Your continued presence here is an act of aggression against innocent people." "And what gives you the right to make that decision?" Threx demanded. "The same right that gave you permission to enslave people," Dr. Kim Nari answered. "The right of superior force. The difference is we will use our force to protect the innocent instead of exploit them." The communication channel went silent. The human ship continued its approach, weapons charged and ready. Around the system, 37 alien ships prepared for battle against 1 human vessel. In 28 minutes, they would learn that sometimes, 1 is enough. The emergency council meeting erupted in chaos before it even began. Representatives from 6 different species shouted at each other through their translation devices, filling the conference room with angry clicks, growls, and whistles. Vextar Kelm stood at the head of the table trying to restore order. "Silence. We need to discuss this calmly." "Calmly?" Threx Modin slammed his massive fist on the metal table, denting it. "Some unknown species just walked into our territory and demanded we leave." "There's nothing calm about this." A thin, insect-like Arcturian named Zek Vith clicked his mandibles nervously. "Perhaps we should contact the Galactic Council. This is clearly a violation of established territory laws." "The Council is 3 days away," Vextar replied. "We need to handle this ourselves." On the main screen, the human ship continued its slow approach toward their defensive formation. It moved with purpose like a predator stalking prey. Every few minutes it sent the same message on all frequencies. 27 minutes remaining. Withdraw or face the consequences. Dr. Kim Nari sat in the science lab aboard the Indomitable, studying the sensor data from the alien installations. Her dark eyes grew sadder with each report she read. The mining facilities below were not what they seemed. "Captain," she called over the communication system, "you need to see this." Captain Lee Hyun arrived in the lab within minutes. His uniform was simple and practical, unlike the elaborate costumes worn by alien officers. "What did you find?" Dr. Kim Nari pointed to her screen. "I've been scanning the worker living areas. These aren't paid employees, Captain. They're prisoners." The data showed massive compounds surrounded by energy fences. Thousands of beings from dozens of different species lived in tiny metal boxes. They worked 18 hours a day with minimal food and no medical care. "How many?" Captain Lee Hyun asked quietly. "Over 2 million in this system alone. Men, women, children. Some species I don't even recognize. The Galactic database says some of these races went extinct decades ago." Captain Lee Hyun studied the information with growing anger. They didn't go extinct. They were captured and enslaved. "It gets worse," Dr. Kim Nari continued. "I've detected several mass graves on the mining worlds. It appears that workers who become too sick or old to be useful are simply disposed of." Captain Lee Hyun's jaw tightened. He pressed a button on the communication panel. "Admiral Park, this is Captain Lee, Priority 1 transmission." Moments later, Admiral Park Jun's voice came through the speakers from Earth. "Go ahead." "Captain." "Sir, the situation is worse than we thought. We're looking at systematic slavery and genocide." "Understood. You have full authority to act as you see fit." "Thank you, sir." Back in the alien conference room, the arguing continued. Threx had called in reinforcements from nearby systems. More ships were arriving hourly, swelling their force to over 50 vessels. "We have them outnumbered now," Threx announced proudly. "One ship against 50. Even humans can't overcome those odds." Quinreth looked up from his sensor station. "Sir, I'm detecting more energy signatures approaching from human space." "More humans?" Vexter asked. "Yes, sir. Long-range sensors show at least 20 ships heading this way. They'll arrive in about 6 hours." The room fell quiet. If the first human ship was that large and powerful, what would 20 ships be like? "We need to end this before their reinforcements arrive," Threx decided. "Signal all ships to attack as soon as the deadline expires." Commander Yoon Hana stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching the alien fleet arrange itself for battle. Her tactical display showed their formations and weapon positions. It was exactly what human military analysts had predicted. "They're following standard Galactic Council battle doctrine," she reported to Captain Lee Hyun. "Long-range engagement. Energy weapons, defensive shields, and our response?" the captain asked. "We do what humans do best." Commander Yoon Hana smiled grimly. "We get close and personal." The final minutes ticked away. Alien ships powered their weapons to full charge. Shield generators created shimmering barriers around each vessel. Missile tubes loaded their deadliest warheads. On the Indomitable, the crew worked with quiet efficiency. Human ships didn't use energy shields like alien technology. Instead, they relied on thick armor and point defense systems. Their weapons were different too. Where aliens used sophisticated energy beams, humans had perfected the simple art of throwing things really, really hard. 5 minutes remaining, Commander Yoon Hana announced. Dr. Kim Nari had moved to the bridge to observe the coming battle. She watched the alien formations with scientific interest. Their tactical arrangement is designed for fighting other aliens. Energy weapons, long-range combat, defensive positions. "Will it work against us?" Captain Lee Hyun asked. "No," she replied simply. "They're fighting the last war, not this one." The communication system crackled to life one final time. Fextar's voice came through, trying to sound commanding. "Human ship, this is your last warning. Leave the system immediately or we will open fire." Captain Lee Hyun picked up the microphone. When he spoke, his voice was calm and steady. "This is Captain Lee Hyun. To all alien vessels in this system, we are not here as conquerors. We are here as liberators. The people in your camps deserve freedom. The children in your prisons deserve life. You have chosen to profit from suffering. We have chosen to end it. You're outnumbered 50-1, Threx roared over the channel. "Numbers don't matter when you're fighting for the right cause," Captain Lee Hyun replied. "You're about to learn why humans became the dominant species on our planet. We didn't get there by avoiding fights. We got there by winning them." The timer reached 0. "All alien vessels," Captain Lee Hyun announced. "You have refused our offer to withdraw peacefully. You have chosen to defend slavery and genocide, so be it. Commander Yoon, you may fire when ready." Commander Yoon Hana's fingers moved across her control panel. Firing solutions locked. "All weapons ready, Captain." "Then let's show them what human determination looks like." Across space, 50 alien ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams and missiles streaked toward the lone human vessel like deadly fireworks. Their combined firepower could destroy a small moon. The human ship accelerated directly into the storm of incoming fire, its engines burning bright blue against the darkness of space. The Battle of Kepler 442 had begun. 3 weeks later, the Kepler system looked completely different. Where mining camps once stood, temporary cities housed the freed prisoners. Human medical ships orbited every planet, treating decades of neglect and abuse. The transformation was remarkable. Admiral Park Jun stood on the bridge of his flagship, the UES Liberty, watching the rescue operations continue. His fleet of 20 ships had arrived to find the situation completely under control. Captain Lee Hyun had done exactly what humans did best, the impossible. "Admiral," his communications officer announced, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council. They want to speak with you immediately." "Put them through," Admiral Park replied. The main screen flickered to life, showing the emergency session of the Galactic Council. Representatives from dozens of species filled the chamber, all talking at once. The council chairman, an ancient being called High Arbiter Zex Thorn, called for order. "Admiral Park of the human fleet," the High Arbiter began formally. You are hereby ordered to withdraw from Galactic Council territory immediately. Your actions constitute an act of war against legitimate member species. Admiral Park remained calm. High Arbiter, we have liberated over 2 million enslaved beings from illegal prison camps. We have provided medical care to thousands of injured prisoners. We have violated no galactic laws. You attacked Council member fleets without provocation. We responded to an act of genocide with appropriate force. The slavery operations in this system violated every civilized law in the galaxy. The Council chamber erupted in angry voices. Some species supported the humans, others demanded punishment for their actions. The High Arbiter struggled to maintain order. Dr. Kim Nari had spent the last 3 weeks documenting everything they found in the camps. Her report was thousands of pages long, filled with evidence of systematic abuse, murder, and slavery. She transmitted the complete files to the Galactic Council during the meeting. High Arbiter, she interrupted. I am Dr. Kim Nari, Chief Science Officer of the Human Expedition. I am transmitting complete documentation of what we discovered here. I recommend you review it before making any decisions about our actions. The Council members fell silent as they received the transmission. The evidence was overwhelming. Medical records, video surveillance, communication logs, everything needed to prove that the mining operations were actually death camps. High Arbiter Zex Thorn reviewed the files with growing horror. These records, they show systematic murder of workers who became too weak to be useful. Among other crimes, Dr. Kim Nari confirmed, we estimate over 50,000 deaths in this system alone. And this is only one of dozens of similar operations throughout Council space. Vextar Kelm, still recovering from his injuries aboard the human medical ship, had spent 3 weeks learning about human civilization. What he discovered changed everything he thought he knew about galactic society. Dr. Kim, he said during one of their daily conversations, I've been reading your historical records. Your species fought wars against slavery on your own planet. Several times, she confirmed. It took us centuries to learn that all sentient beings deserve freedom and dignity. Apparently, the rest of the galaxy hasn't learned that lesson yet. But the economic damage, Vextar protested. The mining operations generate enormous profits for the Council. Profits built on suffering and death, Dr. Kim Nari replied firmly. Human economics work differently. We believe that no profit is worth destroying lives. How do you mine resources without slave labor? The same way we do everything else. We pay people fair wages to do the work voluntarily. We provide safe working conditions and medical care. We treat workers like people instead of property. Vextar struggled to understand this concept, but that would cost so much more. Yes, it would. And that's exactly why it's the right thing to do. On the surface of Kepler 442b, Commander Yoon Hana was overseeing the construction of permanent settlements for the freed prisoners. Human engineering teams worked alongside alien volunteers to build real cities with schools, hospitals, and homes. Many of the former prisoners wanted to return to their home worlds, but others had no homes to return to. Their species had been declared extinct while they rotted in the camps. For them, these new settlements would become their first real homes in decades. Commander, one of her officers reported, we've received a message from Earth. The President wants to speak with Admiral Park immediately. Patch it through to the flagship, Commander Yoon Hana replied. Minutes later, Admiral Park was speaking directly with the President of United Earth. The conversation was brief and to the point. Admiral, the Galactic Council is demanding we withdraw and pay reparations for our actions. What's your assessment? Mr. President, we have documented evidence of genocide on a massive scale. The Council either knew about it and ignored it, or they're incompetent beyond belief. Either way, they have no moral authority to make demands. Understood. You have full support from Earth. Do what you think is right. The conversation ended and Admiral Park turned to face the Galactic Council transmission again. High Arbiter Zex Thorn was still reviewing the evidence files, his expression growing darker by the minute. High Arbiter, Admiral Park announced, I am transmitting additional files to your Council. These contain evidence of similar operations in 17 other systems under Council authority. We have been monitoring your communications for quite some time. The chamber fell completely silent. If the evidence from one system was shocking, the implications of 17 systems were overwhelming. Impossible, whispered one Council member. We would have known about such operations. Would you? Dr. Kim Nari asked pointedly. Or would you have chosen not to know, as long as the profits kept flowing? Captain Lee Hyun joined the conversation from the Indomitable. High Arbiter, humanity is not seeking membership in your council. We're not interested in joining an organization that profits from slavery and genocide. Then what do you want? High Arbiter Zex Thorn asked wearily. We want you to free every enslaved being in council space. We want you to prosecute the people responsible for these crimes, and we want to make sure this never happens again. And if we refuse, Captain Lee Hyun's voice became cold as space itself. Then we will free them ourselves. System by system, planet by planet. We will not stop until every slave camp in the galaxy is empty. The threat hung in the air like a physical presence. Everyone in the council chamber had seen what one human ship could do to an entire fleet. The thought of dozens of human ships systematically dismantling their civilization was terrifying, but Admiral Park wasn't finished. I am transmitting the complete technical specifications for all human military technology to every species in the galaxy. Our weapons, our ships, our tactics, everything. The council members gasped in shock. No species had ever voluntarily shared their military secrets with potential enemies. Why? High Arbiter Zex Thorn asked in confusion. Because we don't need secret weapons, Admiral Park replied. Our strength doesn't come from superior technology. It comes from superior purpose. We fight for something worth fighting for. Dr. Kim Nari added her own message to the transmission. Every species in the galaxy now knows exactly how human military systems work. You can build the same weapons, use the same tactics, construct the same ships, but you can't copy what makes us truly dangerous. And what is that? A council member asked. The absolute certainty that freedom is worth any sacrifice, Captain Lee Hyun answered. The unshakable belief that protecting the innocent is more important than protecting profits. The willingness to stand alone against the entire galaxy if necessary. The Galactic Council meeting ended in chaos. Some species demanded immediate action against the humans. Others called for reform of the council itself. A few quietly began making plans to free their own slave operations before human ships arrived. But in the Kepler system, the work continued. Schools opened for children who had never learned to read. Hospitals treated diseases that had been ignored for decades. Families separated by slavery were reunited through human databases and transportation networks. And in orbit, the human fleet remained on station, not as conquerors or occupiers, but as guardians. They would stay as long as necessary to ensure that slavery never returned to this corner of space. The galaxy had issued a red alert when the first human warship arrived. Now they understood why. It wasn't just a ship that had come to their sector of space. It was the future, and the future would not tolerate the sins of the past. The age of human expansion had begun, and it would be built on principles the galaxy had forgotten, that all sentient beings deserved freedom, dignity, and hope. Some would embrace this new age willingly, others would be dragged into it by force. But change was coming whether they wanted it or not. The humans had made that very clear.